Andrea, what's up? Happy Friday. Zigford, what's up? Raj, what's up? And then just so you guys know, I know Raj is a little new, so I just kind of want to tell everybody, oh, he already knows where the chat is. All right, never mind. Lilu, what's up? Happy Friday, happy Friday. Crazy Friday so far. And obviously you guys are here already at the beginning. This is going to be fully recorded, so if you want to go back and look at anything, feel free to go back and look. And as usual, just if you got any flow or you want me to take a peek at any charts, just feel free to drop them in the chat. Otherwise, we're just going to kind of peek around here and see what's going on. Let's see. Some more ETF flow coming in here, some silver puts. Just kind of want to get set up here a little bit too. I want to see how these SPY calls are doing since I can't really watch that now. All right. And I'm going to get my trading view up just in case anybody has any charts they want me to pull up. All right. Take a peek at these Teslas that came in. So interesting. I didn't even realize Tesla was green on the day. I haven't even looked at Tesla at all. Let's take a peek at these. See 714. So okay, these look pretty good here. JT, what's up? Yeah, these Teslas look pretty good here. I'm gonna throw these in the chat. Spot increasing here. Yeah, these look good. Tesla seems to be obviously holding up pretty well against the market. So I'm going to pop these into the chat here. Get these over here. Let's see. My ask side. Yeah, and Tesla's been ripping recently too. No multi-leg on that either. Looks good to me. Alright. So we had more MicroStrategies come in here. I want to look at these MicroStrategies from a little bit earlier here. Those were pretty interesting. I just want to see. Let's see. So they're the 623.92 5s. Let's take a peek. Their simulation. What's up? So we're looking at the 620.25s. So yeah, really interesting flow here. I mean, we got in here about 402. I gotta see what I have it marked at quick. Sorry, 402-ish. I mean, that's a lot of ask side hits. So I mean, like, this is something that's pretty unusual to me. You know, that's not intraday closing. I'll probably make an educated guess that we'll see most of this open interest probably carry over very low multi-leg weekly. So pretty aggressive play there, and not super far out of the money, but I mean, on the verge of turning green on the day. Those SPY calls, man. I'm waiting for my phone to go off saying my order got filled. Probably not. They're going to probably end up swinging. But let's see. Yeah, I mean, a lot of MicroStrategy stuff coming in here. Let's take a peek at, I know everybody was talking about FSLR a little bit earlier. I know that thing's pumping today. Let's take a peek here. I know I'm mad too, JT. It's been like 10 minutes. I'm just not even up that 100%. And simulation, I know you and me, I'm going to keep going back to this because we were talking about this that entire time. Karma, what's up? Simulation. We're getting there. I mean, this is on that weekly. This is that first initial entry we got in before earnings at 127. That's just, I mean, that was a ripper off that uptrend. But we'll see what happens here. A little bit more to go. I can see it maybe the 200s to get to that, start forming that shoulder. But really interesting there. And I know we were looking at that for, back in, what was that, end of April, early March. Wild move there. And I do want to come in here and check something, because I know JT, we were talking about Gamma a little bit on SPY. Oh, we still got a little ways to go for that price to match up with that daily Gamma. Watching that for sure. Because you know that tweet that I put out there about when we were up here, and I'm like, that one time Limitless had that flow there, or that the Gamma here before that big drop. So keeping an eye on that. That is going to be interesting. So now we got some Tesla puts, so a little further out of the money there. Yeah, Karma, it's that 3-day SPY call that's coming in. It's this guy right here. There's your big banger, hopefully. I'm sitting in 3 of these right now. Keep looking at my phone, waiting for it to say it's filled. I put up order in for like 25, because that whale got filled at 22. So it'd be nice. I only got like 5 contracts, about $100 on them. So that's kind of a little gamble there. I saw it. I'm like, that looks good, but hey, get back up to the high of the day. There's your banger right there. If you get back up there. But yeah, those ASTSs too. Obviously, some time on those, but down a little bit there. HAL, just pretty flat here for the most part. Those SPY puts, 5 they got filled at. They're hitting 540 right now after a little dip this morning. That's why I always say when you see that little longer term flow, you can always kind of get a discounted entry a little bit, but those making a nice recovery there. BSX from yesterday. Massive pumper there. MDT. Hey, these are finally green now. 224. They're 237. There you go. Those poor SPY calls yesterday, though. I want to go back to yesterday. Oh, no, those actually made a decent intraday move there. 294 came up and hit 340. Yeah, that's a lot on that. 392. I got to pull the chat up here again. Sorry, I just caught that. 392.5s, yep. You got 11 mil on that. And they're starting to run a little bit now, too. What do we got that just came in here? More Teslas, 14 days out. People are bullish on Tesla again now. With Elon and Trump getting back together. Well, not fighting, but the divorce is calming down a little bit. Yeah, and that could be a sell the news. A lot of hype going into it, and then could see a little sell the news once that happens. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh, here comes SPY. Why aren't my contracts up yet? Sitting at 19. What else did we have this week? MDB. Let's see. These were from... This would have been a quicker scalp yesterday. Got in there 172. Those pumped up to... Oh, and see, the perfect example here. This whale, I know we were talking about this in the chat yesterday. Had a lot of volume come in here. Barely any closing. That whale exited right there at the top at the ask. So again, perfect example of why not all ask side flow is going to be a buy. Yeah, you didn't have a lot carry over. So yeah, that whale exiting right at the peak. And those actually popped to 238. Starbucks, these put sells coming down. So sold them at 68, sitting at about 107 right now. I have to see what happens on them. They expire today. Wouldn't like playing something that close to the money, but interesting there. Delta Airlines earlier in the week, good move on those. RGTI, those popped that same day a little bit to 120. hit 140, and then we hit 149 that next day. Looks like that whale's still in with some time. That's interesting there. Oh, well, those things ran fast. 5. HUM. Get a nice little intraday move there, and here we are again with the whale, letting them drop. Not doing anything multi-leggy yet either. Oh wait, that whale sold intraday, it looks like. Let's go back and look. 611. So yeah, that was the Humana entry there. I mean, that thing ran up to 185 chopped. Had 2,300 there. Good chunk of that. Probably took some off there. It looks like at 168. Might be holding the rest, but would blow my mind why. What else? The Netflix calls those things ran that next day. Oops, come back here. Where are these from? The 10th. So 10th, that was our entry, 2614. I mean, good move on those. The Intel calls from Flow and Charts. I'm still holding these. I got in here, I mean, about that 160-ish. Chopping at about 123. So a little patience on those. Obviously, a lot of time on those. RGTI call sells. I mean, 105. You're sitting at 78 right now. RKLB, I mean, massive move on those. Google calls, those actually moved up that next day, 133, and hit that 263. I'm going to do a flow recap video as well, too. I'm just kind of trying to kill some time until some flow comes in, or if anybody has any requests. IWM calls, those things moved pretty decently too for a bit. 290, I mean, you hit 359, you're at that 350 for a couple days. BTU 43, I mean, not down too much on those. NVTSLs ran that same day too. Actually, they ran, it looks like, a couple days, 44, and they hit that 87 there on the 11th. And then ARM, those made a good move too. 131 up to 223, kind of chopped there for most of the day, and then even a small run down that next day. But yeah, I'm pretty solid flow week. What are these APAs? 581 days out. Let's take a peek. And a lot of call premium, and you're up pretty decently today. Let's take a peek. So I don't see any change in the IV. I'd probably read it as a buy, but up 4% on the day, probably pass on something like that. How are we looking ETF-wise? Okay, how are we looking market-wise? Hey, coming back up a little bit now. How's my SPY calls doing? Flat. More Tesla calls coming in here. We already hit those earlier Tesla calls yet. So, good example here. Like, usually I'm trying to avoid kind of that mid and bid side flow, but I mean, you've got a ton of ask side flow coming in here. You have that prior ask side flow. So, I mean, once you start, I mean, this kind of comes with screen time and kind of learning. You kind of can spot stuff, and even if that IV is kind of off, you can kind of use your context clues. There's a 367s, because I can probably assure you that, I mean, you're at 1300 there, 1300 there, plus another 1200 there. So somebody's at least going to be swinging some contracts here. The APLD, oh, the APLD from today? When do we have APLD? I feel like I just talked about that. Or was that ASTS that I was talking about? What's going on with the APLD? Oof. Yesterday. Oh, was it the long-term flow that came in? Let's see if I can go back and find it. Get the 10, 17, 16 call. Let's take a peek. 229. They hit 262 yesterday. What was your average that you got in on those, Karma? Yeah, not a big deal. Just kind of curious to see when you got in, because I mean, not a huge hitter, but I mean, enough to kind of at least put a stop on. But yeah, it looks like it's getting killed here. Oops. Get out of there. Okay. All right, let's go back here. Oh, market looks like he wants to keep kind of dropping there a little bit. Paid $240. Let's go back and look at it again. Did you get it on the day that it came in too? Oh, $240. Oh man. So that's probably right there that same day after it came in about. I mean, that's a tough one just because, I mean, paying a little more above that ask, but I mean, slight profits, nothing major, but especially on something like that where, you know, it's been kind of really volatile, but hey, it's a learning lesson. So yeah, that ETF flow's been pretty dead for the most part today. I mean, this is what I was talking about earlier. I mean, you got a lot of flow coming in. You're just not right at that ask. I mean, you're slightly below the ask a little bit on a lot of them. We did have that one SPY call that did post. Where was that? The 568. Because you've seen that come in here a little bit below that ask, but you get that kind of ascending fill there, and I mean that's pretty big premium there too. And it looks like they're, oops, not 7 days. Looks like they're probably taking some off here. Have to check that on Monday though. Oh, I'm just watching my phone with all the news coming in. Israel saying more action is going to be taken against Iran. It's going to be a long weekend. Let's look at those MPs that simulation posted. Let me pull up my contract lookup here. P, we are looking at the 718.35 calls. Here we are. Oh, a lot of volume coming in here, it looks like. I want to look at that prior because we got some open interest here. So definitely somebody opening. This bid side stuff kind of towards the end of the day is a little kind of concerning here. Would want to see how much of that kind of carries over, but let's just kind of take a peek at the raw flow, see what we dig up here. 77.29. So that IV is decreasing here. So those could be 76. Yeah, it's kind of a tougher one here because now you have that IV. Oh, that IV is decreasing there. I'm trying to look at the time. So about 10-minute difference. I want to go back a little bit earlier in the day just to see how that looked. But it looks like they might be taking some off here at the end of the day. Let's see. Yeah, it would make sense. I mean, it would be the smart thing to do. Some sweeps in here. So Ivy. So that's when that volume kind of came in. It looks like about that 8:30, 8:35. Okay, let's see. So a little volume in there. Yeah, I mean your IV's kind of coming up here on those bigger hits. Well, 87 there, then it's kind of a small drop there. Back down, then back up. I hate when the IV's spotty like that. Let's see, 80.66. Let's take a peek at that. Oh, sorry, I want to go back and look at the contract. You are correct. 3.64 times the 30-day volume. But yeah, I mean, those look almost... I mean, it'd be odd to see them kind of cutting for about 132-ish. For some small profits, maybe. But, I mean, they're down, so their fill was 118. Yeah, I could see them taking off a little at 120 in the mid-120s. 130. Alright, I hear some dings. Let's go take a peek at the dings. Yeah, good little example there, simulation. Alright, so we had these cars come in. So usually I'll kind of avoid the bigger spread, bid-ask spreads, but for the video it's a good example. Yep, smart. Floor trade. Let's look at these. So their puts were down 3.7 on the day. Not really trading too much here. Let's take a peek. 61.11. Yeah, I mean your IV or your spot increases a little bit here. Your IV pops a little bit here. I just don't like that spread on that one. Don't like the spread on that one. NJT, if you want, keep an eye on that because you know how these the flow from the live streams usually always go. But yeah, something like a spread like this, I don't like posting something like that just because people are going to be hitting that ask, and I don't want that spot to kind of be around that like 30 or so, and then somebody's down 25% right away. That's not fun. So I kind of try to avoid those bigger spreads like that. All right, let's see what the market's doing. Back down. Oh, wait, nope. Back down, yep. Just trying to see if we got any news coming out, too. Taking a peek here. And I hate how I always get excited for these lives on Friday, and then we end up not getting flow. Karma, which one do you want me to look at? AR flow. The flow from earlier today, because I know we had some AR flow from earlier today. Yeah, you're right, Zigford. Well, it's pouring rain here. We've already had 3 inches over since yesterday. All right, let's look at this AR flow. So again, see that spot increasing there. Let's take a peek at that raw flow here for you. Looks like it's moving up a little bit now. Or who was looking at the AR flow? Because it's not posted in here. I don't think I posted that as an actual trade. Let me just look quick here. I might have accidentally forgot to hit the thing. Nope, I don't have it in here. Okay, let's take a peek at it though. Let's see why it wasn't posted. So 42.90. Okay, so that IV was kind of popping around. I kind of remember seeing this one a little bit earlier. IV popping around. IV technically decreases here. Then you have that IV kind of increase again. Looks like that flow came in about a couple minutes after. Probably the same person. So that IV popped on that second one. So I just want to see how it looked in. Okay, so that's why that second batch didn't kind of pop up. Just because you had that 1,000, so it's open, and then only 700, so it's not really gonna hit the filter properly. But what? So 3,000. Actually, let me take a peek. 1,400. So 2,000. Yeah, I mean, it's making a move. And again, I mean, it's not 100% a science on if the IV, but yeah, I mean, that first batch there where that IV was kind of coming in, and we can kind of go back and look at that again too. And you see that IV down, pop, down again. And I mean, it's a little tougher one with the bid, and you're not coming in ready to ask it first. Obviously, hindsight's 2020, but yeah, so that was the AR one. Interesting piece there. Oh, let's look at these MUs that just came in. Jen, just be smart about it. You know, it's the weekend. You know, something can always happen. Not always a bad thing to take profits, but again, feel free to do whatever you'd like, whatever's best for you. Let's take a peek at these MUs that came in for next week. So right away, I see that spot increasing. Let's take a peek at these. Okay, net put premiums up. Let's take a peek here. 42, okay. This kind of looks good, but let's come down here. Alright, so pop in the IV. So then we have that drop in that IV again. Spot staying at the ask. So that IV's dropping, and then we pop again. See, so like this is where I'm like, it kind of looks good, and then you see that IV even drop. Where was that? So 42.31 pops again a little bit there, and then drops at the end, and then really drops here on that second batch that comes in. So I mean, again, it could print, but if it's not hitting all your rules and all that, I'm not a big fan of just kind of guessing, but that is interesting because, I mean, you have that small little spot increase too, but that IV decreasing, it makes it tough, And what I like to say, if I have to think about it and kind of guess, and kind of just pass on it, you can always be another piece of flow. So probably say no on those, but these CCJs. So again, this is almost more of a midfill. It's showing it's an ask, but you're 10 cents off the ask there. You're about 4 cents off the bid there. We just look at the flow. Let's just take a peek just for example. 44.01 for 4.19. So I mean, this reads like a buy until you get to the end there where that IV drops again. So I mean, and that's what flow is mostly. I mean, you're kind of just going through and trying to weed out the bad flow. There's a lot more bad flow than good flow. Let's look at these oracles that just came in, the 627 225s. So not a lot of size against the volume, but we'll take a peek. Oops, I don't want on. Come here. So to me, so we got 250. So I'm gonna say 550, 650, 900. So we'll say about 1,000 there just to make the math a little easier. So about 1,000 there too. Something you have to check that open interest on. I mean, a lot of that coming in 250, 250. Probably not cutting there, but let's take a peek. So where's that volume coming in? Right there. So 35. So again, another one where that IV's kind of popping all over the place. Just can't get a good read on that one. And you're up almost 10% on the day too. Yeah, something like this, you have to check that open interest that next day. Let's look at these ons. And I'm going to pop in the market tide here in a second. So, okay. 52 put, you're 1% out of the money. 7 days to go, down 6% on the day. 478. So again, 45 that IV's just all over. Then we pop here a little bit on the side on that side there. But again, look where you're filling. Not right at the ask or bid really. It's closer to the ask, but I almost consider that a mid-fill, and I will pass on something like that. Let's take a peek at the tide here quick. I want to throw this in for a chat quick. And again, if anybody has any flow or anything they want me to check out, just feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of keep looking at stuff. Tide. Alright, let's go look at the NEMs. Did we look at those? No, we didn't. Okay, so 35 days. We're up pretty big on the day. Not too far out of the money. Got some prior open interest. So let's just kind of look here. So, okay, definitely an opening trade. All ask side. So let's see, 34.27, 63. I want to see where that descending fill is. Okay, here's our descending fill. So only 3 contracts, doesn't concern me. And you got some little decrease here at the end, and then small little increase. Probably buys, but let's see. We got so yeah, and I mean materials too. Makes it a little tough. That's kind of driven by macro events too, so you got to keep that in mind. Probably pass on those. I mean, because you got a lot of that net call premium up there too. Let's see how much. 2 times the daily volume. It's only 3% of the total premium. Yeah, probably pass on those. Big EQT multi-leg. We'll look at it just for fun. I don't trade spreads, but good example here of if you'd like looking at multi-leg trades, you just come back out here. Like if you're looking at that raw flow and you see it come in, you just come in, hit those arrows, it'll show you that possibly related multi-leg trades. Come down to the bottom, sometimes it'll have a little note on what it potentially can be. And what I like to do, especially for people that don't trade spreads, you just hit that, view the profit loss here, and it should. Why is it not popping in my profit calculator? Come here. It's not popping into my profit calculator. Alright, let's do an earlier one. Let's see. Like, let's say you wanted to look at these, the Dollar Tree ones. Like, okay, you see some ask side puts, bid side calls. You want to figure out what it is. You just hit that. It should populate in here, and I always just switch it over to the table, and it's just going to kind of tell you what it's pulling in as. So, especially if you're not the best at reading spreads and all that, and like this one, if you come down here, so it's going to show you it's a bearish risk reversal. So, helps if you like trading spreads. I don't like trading spreads. Just nothing coming in on this side. How are we doing right now? A little pop. Where are we at on the daily? Alright, I want to look at the CRWVs quick, actually. Okay, I was expecting a big candle there. Simulation had me excited. I want to look at that SPY daily, though, see where we're at. I mean, you're right, obviously. And this is going to be a really crappy chart, so I apologize. I mean, you're sitting right here in your supply zone. I mean, almost a perfect rejection out of that supply zone. So that's kind of funny. Kind of funny how it always happens like that. And I know NY Jets was talking earlier. I mean, you got that gap right here. Gap down here. We do have some further dated gaps. Actually, that one's filled. I mean, you got some further dated gaps. I mean, back down here at 415, 417, 432, 437. Lots of gap. Look at yeah, let me do that for you. So, like, perfect example here. So, like, you're not asking me for a specific contract. So, like, this is what I'll typically do. So, let me just open up a new tab. So, I have my flow feed here. Excuse me here. I get a big yawn. So, my filters, I have my master flow list. So this is just basic filters. I mean, this is going to pull in everything. I barely have any filter set because I'd like to see that entire flow. So, I mean, I just have a very basic 50,000 premium, 30 days to expiration. Everything's pretty much wide open on something like this. So, like, let's look at, you have LMT first. So I pop in LMT here. So I'm going to see everything that's coming in today for LMT. So obviously right away I can see I don't have much here. So 30 days, I'll pop it out maybe 90, see what's going on. A little longer term here. Just kind of scan down. So there's not a lot today. So like if I move this over. Okay, I'm looking at this today. So we had some bid side calls here. So what I like to do here, I like to look for big premiums essentially. A multi-leg one here. So without diving into each single trade too, obviously it's a little tough, but like right here, so you have some 718, 500, 550 calls. And kind of looking up here, so some bid side stuff here. We're up 4% on the day. Obviously this is going to be macro driven here, so like this. Now if I was going to send it to you in the chat, I would I'd probably highlight those single leg ask sides here. So like those 35 days here, or this group of 35s here. And I mean, you can see there's kind of a lot of volume on that too. And then, I mean, like this is a flow alert here. I mean, you got 500. So again, on that 718. So that 718 is getting hit there a lot too. And then kind of look at that previous day as well too a little bit. Obviously big multi-leg stuff there. So like the LMTs here, like the 718 500s, I'd make you aware of that chain more, essentially. So now let's look at RTK. for and see if we got a little more. Or you're looking for not RTK. Why am I blanking on it? Why am I blanking on it? It's RTX. So let's look at RTX. I'm gonna assume you wanted RTX. So like RTX today. So again, I'm sitting that 90 days out, 50,000. No, you're good. I was sitting there like RTK. I was thinking not RKT because that'd be Rocket Mortgage, and then I was like, I couldn't. Too many R's and T's in that one. So like today, obviously very deep in the money too. So I keep that, like I said, I keep these filters kind of all the way open just so I can kind of see what's going on overall since I don't have a specific contract to look at. So like those, I mean, really deep in the money. Kind of a lot of bid side calls coming in here, but this ask side stuff here towards the end is pretty interesting to me. I'm just looking like yesterday. I mean, you had these coming on the 4th here. I mean, that's just insane. 905. So, I mean, that's kind of how I'll do it, like when you ask for flow. Or instead of doing it like this, like if you don't have a flow filter set up at all, you can always just kind of come into that contract lookup. And like if you wanted to look up LMT, just hit that in. Hit your search. It's going to kind of show you those highest volume contracts on the day. So what I do from here, I'm kind of looking at that bid ask volume. So you want to see obviously more ask side on one side or bid side if you're planning on selling premium, but I'm looking at ask side. Let's say you just wanted to buy calls, that'd be my assumption. Like I'm just kind of looking down here, and this way is a lot quicker scanning too. I mean, and you can always, I'd probably recommend setting it by the premium too. I mean, set it up looking for the highest premium. So like, I mean, a lot of it's mixed. So like something like this probably not really gonna anything stick out there. But then if we look at RTX, and again, just kind of popping that premium up. I mean, so okay, like this 650, you have 100% on the ask side, deep in the money, deep in the money. So I kind of try to avoid anything that deep in the money. I mean, you can take a peek at it. I mean, these are 80 calls and it's trading at, where were we, RTX. I mean, you're trading at 145. I mean, they're almost double in the money. So like that, I'm kind of ignoring that. Whoops, here, let's go back here. They can exercise their share. So maybe they want to own it at $80 per share. In the money stuff is I think it's more complicated, especially something that deep in the money. It's almost like owning the underlying, essentially, if you're that deep in the money. So you obviously have options, but something that deep in the money, because that delta, and I'll show you here. So like if you come here, it's like those 80 calls. What was that expiration on them again? Let me come back here. Oops. The expiration on those 80 calls. Where were we? 1/16 of next year. Okay. So like 1/16 of next year. So you're looking at those 80 calls. Like typically this is all intrinsic value. So this is kind of where like knowing like the fundamentals of how contracts move and all that. Like this is mostly intrinsic value. So you're not really getting any theta decay, all that. So you look at these, and the highest you can go on a delta is 1 here. So I mean, you're pretty much at 1 there, and you can see, I mean, that theta is non-existent. It's pretty much essentially owning the underlying. They could have bought these when RTX was trading. Let's see, let me go back here. So it looks like they've been in these for, I mean, good amount of time here. And I can only go back 90 days, so I can't really show you that much more. But I mean, you can see like those, I mean, I don't know what we were trading at back in February. Let's go look. So February of this year. So I mean, they're buying the shares. So like, if they're exercising them at 80, obviously they will be owning them at 140, or they'll be buying the shares at 80, and then they can sell them at 146 essentially. I mean, the deep in the money stuff, it's a little deeper than just kind of like, oh, okay, well, it's super, super deep in the money. It's essentially owning the underlying when you kind of look at it a little deeper. That's how, at least how I look at it. I kind of avoid that stuff. It's good if you want to avoid like that theta decay. Like if you were super bullish on SPY, like let's say we go to, like let's say SPY, you want to own shares at, let's just say you want to own shares at 580 and you want really long calls on SPY. So like let's say we're doing December of next year's calls. So you want 580. So you're buying the right to buy those shares at 580 per share. So if SPY is at $720 a share by then, you will own those shares at 580. And like if you look at this again, that delta is very, very close to 1. Theta's pretty minimal on something like that. And the deeper in the money you go, the smaller your theta will be and the higher your delta is. So that's kind of where that Greeks come in and all that as well too. So kind of a longer explanation there for you. It's kind of more fundamentals there, like contract wise. So that's why I kind of try to avoid the deeper in the money stuff. Just want to take a peek at SPY here, see where we're at. Just kind of slow grind down to end the day. But yeah, Q, I hope that kind of somewhat answered your question. It's just essentially like owning the underlying, so. Usually, that's kind of what, I mean, like you'll see like Pelosi, she had like, it was like $50 NVIDIA calls. So, I mean, NVIDIA can run up to like 300. But I'm just picking a random number too. So if she exercises those contracts, she technically would be sorry JT, I was reading that too while I was trying to finish that. So like if she exercised those contracts, she would own those NVIDIA shares at $50 a share. Then she could sell them for that $250 per share difference. Oh man, that was a fun question. Yeah, if you got an IV question, I know I'm gonna work on that IV guide over the weekend too. It actually stopped raining a little bit. Yeah, enjoy your weekend simulation in Karma. Oh boy, more news here. Israeli officials say Trump approved the Iran attack. We had a clear U.S. green light. Well, I mean, that they weren't involved, and I know they did come out and say that they were aware of it. It's not really saying go do it, but interesting. Gonna be an interesting weekend in what comes out of all this stuff. Makes the market, don't want to say it makes the market not fun, but you know. Makes it tough to trade when you got all that stuff going on. All the geopolitical issues. It's like, just get along and make money. Oh, 10 minutes left in the day. 10 minutes. And it looks like it might just kind of chop. How are we looking market tide wise for the last 10? Yeah, just kind of just sitting there. SPY's your biggest impact on the put premiums, call premiums. Tesla. That's just funny. Yeah, nothing else really coming in here. Nothing really coming in towards the end of the day. Martian, Philip, and Rich Dog, what's up? Coming in towards for the last 8 minutes. I see everything's recorded too, so I'll have it up too if you guys want to review it. No worries, no worries. I usually try to do it for Power Hour, so. But nope, it's all recorded. You didn't miss that much. I mean, the flow's been really kind of slow, more kind of going through crappy flow and stuff that I'd avoid. Oh, that's a tough question. That's a tough question. I would probably. Well, next week we have FOMC next week, and it's a short week next week. FOMC's on Wednesday, and then we're off Thursday, and then I mean, I hate to say I know what next week's gonna be like. Just I mean, a lot of stuff can unfold over the weekend, especially overseas with what's going on. So I mean, it's flip a coin, honestly, at this point right now. Hate to say that, but I mean, nobody can probably tell you what's gonna happen and who's gonna get involved, what's gonna happen, all that. If there's gonna be more escalation, if somebody else is gonna come out and say something, and then again, FOMC on top of all of that too. So it's next week's short, and it's gonna be busy. Gonna be a busy short week. And that's the thing too. I mean, if somebody tells you, "Well, we're gonna recover next week," well, nobody knows what's gonna happen over the weekend. Nobody knows, except maybe somebody like very, very close to the situation, but they might not even know. Hey, that's always nice. Always nice to have some time off, and then you can just focus on your one thing. Man, there's just nothing coming in. Is that SPY whale in my calls never sold? Depressing. Whatever. 22. Well, hey, let's open up at like 6:10 on Monday. Huh? Maybe. Probably not. Just a little $100 lotto there for me. Alright. I'm guessing nobody's going to probably want any charting done, so we can just kind of. Man, it's going to be quiet close here. I'm just trying to see what happens. I mean, we're just going to chop right here into close, maybe. I'm waiting to see a big candle one way or the other, though. And this is why, I mean, people always want to do live trading, man. That's brutal just sitting here watching this. And it's tough to manage trades when you're live trading. It's tough to trade managing a Discord, too. looks like we might just chop into close here. Yeah, it gets to be a lot. It gets to be a lot sometimes. And of course now, but super slow right now going into the weekend, obviously. So it's like, oh, it doesn't look like you do too much when just kind of sitting here watching. I mean, it's mostly, I mean, when you have like 5 or 6 things coming in at once, I mean, like here within a 5 minute time span, I mean, you're looking through 5, 6 pieces of flow and then kind of digging through. That's when it gets tough when you have like 10 things coming at once and it's like, oh crap. Somebody said those micro strategies pumped too. I want to take a peek. Oh yeah, little move on those from that entry of 402, 527. Good move on those, and it looks like they just added there too again. Looks like they're swinging those. What those ASTSs are kind of selling off into close. Hey, we had a ding. Let's take a peek. DJT, so again, not right at the ask, coming right in the middle. Down, multi-leg, nope. Okay, so popping the IV when that came in. 7470. So dropping the IV and then we pop again. That's going to be a no for me. And again, I mean, you're coming in right almost in the middle. Most of the flow that I look at, it's about probably 80% bad, 20% good. So, I mean, that's usually what you're doing. It's just, oh, this flow might be good. Nope, bad. On to the next, on to the next. I mean, this is all the flow that I posted this week. I mean, it's not like some groups where they will post every piece of ask side flow that comes in or bid side flow. And no, I actually look at the flow. And again, I mean, it's not going to be 100%, but I will always review my flow and post the results. That's for the most of things. Well, unless the dog likes to chew on the microphone cord and wreck it, then I miss it for a week, but still will post a spreadsheet for those that like to kind of watch that. But all right, let's see where we are as we go into close. Just flat. All right, I'm gonna hop off, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Just probably a weekend to get off the computer and stay away from the screens. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there too. So enjoy your weekend. I'll kind of try to get everything up for next week as well, a little bit today or a little bit later this evening. Have a great weekend, everyone.